Hey guys, thanks for stopping by to watch another video here at All I See is W, where we talk about stocks, Bitcoin, and finance. What All I See is W stands for is gaining on positive proceeds and leading with an altruistic mindset. In today's video, I wanted to cover the overall price market in Bitcoin. We'll cover MicroStrategy. We'll also talk about the top three Bitcoin miners that I believe have so much potential in the coming weeks and months in 2025. What's great is now we have Trump 2.0. Trump's inauguration happened today. We saw price action with Bitcoin. I'll go through my overall assessment from a technical and fundamental analysis of Bitcoin, MSTR, and the top three Bitcoin miners that I believe have bullish potential. Most of you are wondering, especially what we're seeing with altcoins like with Trump coin and Millennia coin all having huge run-ups. Most of you are wondering, should I be investing in the crypto market as well as the stock market? Let me tell you what we saw with Trump's first term. The moment he became president, the crypto market ran up and the stock market ran up. So there's going to be a push and pull dynamic between market makers and the whales. So I wouldn't be worried about the stock market. We're going to see some roaring action coming up here. If you're new to this channel, I would really appreciate the love and support with the subscribe and like to this video here. First off, let's get started. What we're looking at here is price action with Bitcoin. It's interesting to see, early on during the day, we saw that run up to, all-time highs, getting up to close to 109,000 Bitcoin. What we're seeing now is slight reduction here, but this is good because now we're beginning to see consolidation at the $100,000, especially what we've seen over the past couple of weeks volatility going on, but I do think that anytime when it runs down to like 89,000, we saw that quick golf up. People are just engulfing Bitcoin price at those levels. And I think that Bitcoin, we're going to see that run up to $200,000. I have my forecast going up because of the sentiment with Bitcoin here, along with different states. We're going to start hearing executive orders now that Trump is the president of the US. Under Trump 47, I think there's just going to be so much potential here. And what's great is that we also see the crypto market also going up. So with, all these altcoins that are in play now, that's also going to be stability with the cryptocurrency market as well as Bitcoin price going up. So I think that we're going to see some upside here. Let's take a look at this visual here from Plan B on X here. So we're looking at the Bitcoin daily stock to flow and price based on forecasts here. We're expected to see 2025 run up. We're going to see potentially in that 200, 300K just based on the stock to flow price model that's really based on the halving events. So as we get into like 2026 onward, we can very well see the price get, more than $500,000 in the price of Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised because now it's a global game theory. It's really competition right now between the US and China. You have Coinbase backed in the United States, you have Binance backed by China. There's a push and pull mechanism going on, but who has the most Bitcoin will be able to showcase their power with their economy. That's more to come with the price of Bitcoin going up. Most of you are wondering, is this really going to drive up? Are these going to be catalysts for like MSTR and the miners? I'm going to say yes, most definitely. While the commodity of Bitcoin goes up, we're going to see some huge price action. I wanted to also cover an article here that things will be different tomorrow, according to what Saylor mentioned. Uh, you know, Saylor continues to buy Bitcoin. I mean, just looking at the Michael Saylor portfolio tracker, all these green dots just represent him just buying up more Bitcoin. Can you imagine how much Bitcoin MSTR will be able to accumulate in the year 2025? Currently, like at 450,000 Bitcoins. I wouldn't be surprised as they ramp up to close to 600,000 Bitcoin. And we know that in recent news, they're talking about issuing more shares so that they can get on a big HODL amount with Bitcoin. And the unique thing about MSTR is they were able to get their average cost to about 60,000 price of Bitcoin. If and when Bitcoin goes up to 200K, all of that's going to be net profits, that huge return on investment with their balance sheet showing, just profit margins because of their average cost being so low here, along with their big HODL count. So great news here. So, just with the portfolio trackers, it doesn't matter if it's at the low point or at the high point. MSTR continues to buy because that's their business model, continue to have the biggest HODL, at least as the number one public company to have the most Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And I think that there's going to be some government partnerships going on where MSTR can potentially lease out their Bitcoins, even though they still own the Bitcoin and make money on a monthly basis. Let's take a look at some technicals here. So I wanted to share with you just overall technical analysis. What we're seeing here is MSTR here in green. Just overall, just looking at it from a zoomed out perspective, we see MSTR at like 1,269%. In fact, it was at like 1,600% gain here. We know all of this is attributed to their business model. Michael Saylor has developed the branding. MSTR is like the kingpin, stockpile public company. Everyone knows Michael Saylor. He attends all these events, even with the Trump celebration. So because the branding is so strong and because MSTR has, the biggest HODL right now, that just shows that they are the titan of the industry. And that's why there's so much backing from like big time whale investors. Uh, we have like the big three miners like CleanSpark, Mara, and Riot. You look at their performance, CleanSpark 160%, Mara 100%, Riot only 18% based on this scale here. But looking at MSTR, they've gone up, by like 12x more of what we've seen here. So 12 times your investment if you were to invest in MSTR based on this time-based scale here. So MSTR has done so well for the shareholders, and I do believe that there's going to be more value that's going to be provided to shareholders. But when you look at the miners, because they underperformed so much with, Biden era, is that going to remain the same under the Trump 2.0 era? Because Trump has the backing of the North American miners, along with small cap stocks, outperforming whenever we see Trump in town. I think that because we see underperformance, I believe these top three miners have potential to make bullish run-ups. Not to say that MSTR won't. I believe MSTR will continue to have upside here, but not to the level of like 1,200% gain. We'll definitely see some positive performance at the end of the year, but I do think that there's also going to be positive performance with CleanSpark, Mara, and Riot. Let's take a look at just how things go as we progress. When we zoom in here, we're beginning to see CleanSpark catch up here, right? So the leading horse, let's see if MSTR continues to be the leading horse here. So you see here the pink line, Riot, Mara, CleanSpark. Let's see how things look as we start zooming in here from like July to current year. So we see MSTR still dominating at 200% based on August to 2025 here. So we see here 200% Riot at 60%, Mara 15%, CleanSpark at 4%. So as we continue to scale up here, October timeframe, MSTR is still the workhorse here based on historical trends, right? So let's see if the pace is still the same here as we zoom in here. Just around that Trump timeframe when we heard he won. Let's see how MSTR continues to perform. So we see here Riot beginning to catch up here in terms of rate of growth. We see Mara catching up here, and we see CleanSpark catching up here. Actually, CleanSpark just bypassed MSTR, just based on, December timeframe to where we are now. Let's zoom in even further. So late December, we see Riot actually being the outperformer here. MSTR is number two, CleanSpark and Mara right behind MSTR. So just factoring in the recent performance, we see, just catching up going on here. Not to say that MSTR is blowing off steam, but just looking at just the recent weeks of trading, we're beginning to see the miners catch up here. So, you see here CleanSpark Riot outperforming MSTR just with the last couple of days of trading. So I think, where we are, there's going to be some push and pull between these performers here. But the question is, how will these stocks perform at the end of the year? I wanted to share with you seasonality analysis here, and it gives you a gauge as to how we see what the forecast is in the current year. We're really trying to see repeating trends, but let's just take a look at Riot seasonality. And there's a correlation with Riot and Mara and CleanSpark. So if we see this performance in Riot, most likely we'll see the same in Mara and Cleanspark. So you take a look here at the earliest year red. Okay, so we saw huge gains of like 1,200%. So we see the potential what miners can do as well, similar to what we saw with MSTR. What happened the following year? A huge drop off, 35%, even though we were in the positive still, but big disparity, right? What happened the following year? All of those process got depleted, 85% loss. So everything that was gained in 2020, 2023, all of that was just loss based on the year 2022, huge underperformance. What happened after that? Share price was so low, people started buying, right? Buying low, right? And end of the year was 359%. What do we see in 2024? That was a huge underperforming year, 33% loss. So now, because we see underperformance in 2024, I'm thinking that we're going to see 3 to 5x potential anywhere between the purple and red here. Let's take a look at the current data that we have in 2025. Where does it land? We see here at 28%, but I believe that the blue is going to be somewhere up here. There's going to be huge upside between Mara, Riot, and CleanSpark. And for MSTR's case, I do think that in 2025, we're going to see MSTR get up to about $1,200. We're beginning to see the price tighten up with MSTR. So I don't think there's going to be any like more of that falling knife that we saw. Let's take a look at this article here. From TipRanks here, MSTR, Mara, and Coin crypto stocks are ready for Trump to take the White House. So there's a lot of excitement going on right now in the stock market, in the cryptocurrency market. We heard a lot about those altcoins being created like Trump and the Millennia, huge run-ups. But that really just shows that there's going to be some run-ups in the stock market as well. Investors are looking for the crypto stock plays, and which is why Mara, MSTR, Coinbase in this article. There's going to be some price action going on along with like CleanSpark and Riot. But I think that in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be a lot of excitement. We're going to see some price action, some crypto stock rally under Trump. So expect to see huge price actions, in the near term here, and just based on this comparison tool here between the three, Mara, MSTR, and Coin, just based on analysts here, we have moderate buy for MSTR, strong buy for MSTR, Coinbase, moderate buy, analyst price target. There's 39% upside with Mara, 33% upside with MSTR, and Coinbase. We don't really see much price action there, but just out of the three, based on analysts, they're suggesting that Mara has the most upside. But we really don't know. If we had that magic 8 ball where we can predict the future, we'd be making huge bucks here. But I think that uh, there's just so much sentiment going on here. CleanSpark also, they're like at the number 4 when it comes to HODL amount here. So CleanSpark joins Mara, Riot, Hut 8 as a major listed Bitcoin mining company with over 10,000 Bitcoins on their balance sheet. And what's interesting is that CleanSpark, they mined all of these Bitcoins, at the cost of like less than 35,000 per Bitcoin. As price of Bitcoin goes up to 200K, imagine how much revenue that would be on their balance sheet for Q1 2025. But we're going to see some very great numbers from the quarterly results from like MSTR, Mara, Riot, and CleanSpark in the year to come here. But you look at with the last year, 2024, all of that was a reflection of like, poor performance with Bitcoin price going down. But I think because we're in that Bitcoin bull rally, we're going to see really good financial results here. Let's take a look at Riot here. So Riot Platforms, according to this Yahoo article, under the new Trump era 2.0, Riot has become one of the hottest stocks in the mid cap sector. And I think what we should also keep in mind is that the S&P mid cap index has outpaced S&P 500 year to date. I think that because Trump is a supporter of the overall economy, we're going to see some huge upsides with the small cap and mid cap companies. We saw large caps dominating for, consistent years, but I do think that rate of return, we're going to see small and mid cap companies outperforming the large cap company. And what does that mean? A big time Bitcoin miner like Riot, I think they're going to have some huge run-ups. We saw so much volatility with these companies. And I think because it dropped down so much, what goes down will just eventually pop back up. Year-to-date performance at 27.9%. It's not going to end there. I think that there's huge upside here. And because, their overall deployed hash rate has been increasing, they're arguably one of the fastest growing Bitcoin miners, being able to consistently mine in addition to what Mara and CleanSpark have done. But overall, according to this article here, Riot could ride that wave in a big way. And Riot ranks fifth on the list of the hottest mid-cap stocks so far in 2025, just based on what we're seeing on the year-to-date performance. So most of you are wondering, which, stock's going to outperform. Will it be the Bitcoin commodity? Will it be MSTR or these big three miners? Let me know what your comments are down below. Thank you.